And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, the great folks over at Viva, they sent me this box. They didn't send me this, but they sent me this box. And let's just say, if you don't hit that notification bell to get post notifications when I drop a video, you're gonna miss this video, right? Where we melt down the scrap copper, hundreds of pounds of it right there. It's gonna be epic, guys. Smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. Do it now. Yes, sir.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good.
You're famous to me.
I'm famous to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
How you doing, man? So,
You know what? I've driven by this house,
so many times, right?
you know, for probably a very long time.
Very.
You know, probably at least 20 years. And this can't be a real Ford GT. It's a replica. A kit car?
It's a replica. Volkswagen engine in it. My uncle did that.
Really?
I did. You want to buy it?
Do I want to buy it?
Yeah.
Do I? Listen, I don't think I would take it even if you were giving it to me. Wow. That is pretty cool. Let me get a better view of that. So what is this exactly?
It has a Volkswagen engine in the back.
A Volkswagen engine.
It's like a buggy Volkswagen frame, and they just put the fiberglass body on top. It's a replica.
So what?
Replica, yeah.
Is it open?
It's all like, you know.
Oh yeah, sure does. This is a big project.
It is a project. But he drives it like that.
This is drivable?
Yeah. That's the point, yeah.
They got a lot of Bondo on there. Oh my
yeah.
God, the whole body's full of.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I think I put this much plaster on a toilet bowl I was setting the other day.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, there's my
It's
father.
me. What's going on?
That's my dad. He's been calling you.
You're the guy from Westchester?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the electrician.
Yeah.
How are you, sir?
Very good. Nice to meet you.
You
Take
as
it
well.
easy.
And this is your son.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Stop
You're the
by.
one who put the boiler in?
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta see this.
Yeah, you're
Come
gonna love
on
it.
down.
I've been watching your video, so, you know,
Don't.
hammer me down.
Okay.
No, I know. I try to do exactly what you
And
guys
this is
do, but
cousin,
I'm
this
trying
is
to help
cousin
my...
Mark, which we haven't been. We only see him at funerals and
Weddings?
and stuff like
Okay.
that. But we love him, and we heard what happened to him, and the
Let's go
stroke
see.
and all of that. So
Let's go see if we can take care of cousin
you're
Mark.
gonna see kind of my stuff.
I like the headlamp, by the way.
Yeah, it's a must. Can't live without it.
Is this his kitchen?
Yes, this is his kitchen. Get the idea?
Okay.
So this is where they brought the boiler in from the from the garage.
All right. Let's see this boiler. How long has he been out for?
Probably a couple of months, I guess. Well, we didn't catch up to him until he came home, so that's got to be like 6 weeks maybe. So this is what was in, and obviously this is what we found online.
So you didn't replace the boiler?
Yeah.
You're,
Oh, no,
Yeah.
that's the old one right
That's the
there.
old boiler,
That
yeah.
blew up.
then what? How long ago did you do this?
Huh?
How long ago did you do this?
I just did it like about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago.
Then why is there an old sticker on here?
Because he bought it used from another guy in the Bronx. He asked me to go and
So
get
this is a
it.
used boiler.
It is
Yeah,
a used
yeah.
boiler.
So I gotta ask, how much did you pay for this used boiler?
1,200. I think it
Holy
worked out.
sh-
1,400.
You paid $400 for a used boiler.
Almost bought a new one.
You could have bought a brand new one for that price.
Are you kidding? Where?
Supply house?
They were saying 5,000.
Yeah,
Well,
5
listen.
grand. Yeah. That's what they said, 5 grand. So-
Wow.
You mean that's
And
your
we got
price?
ripped off, so
Yeah, that's my price, yeah, but you know, still, that's not,
Well,
that's
like
not
I
the
said-
install price, you
like-
know.
like I
Listen,
said-
the install, listen, this is really not done. It's not done correctly, you know. So listen, this job, you know, is it's an easy $12,000 job,
Absolutely.
yeah, all in.
Oh, yeah.
All in. It's done wrong. But look at it. It's. I'm not trying to hate on what you did.
No.
But it probably was like this to begin with.
Look, we
This
were
is the-
desperate.
this is
We
the-
were
Yeah, no.
desperate after
So
we-
you have your steam main coming up here,
Yeah.
right? and then you have what you call your equalizer going here and going to one pipe size smaller or the same size of that steam main coming up to here. However, you have here one steam main leaving this here and going into two, and then going into the other side here for another, I don't even know what you want to call this piping that's here.
Yeah, so this is all backwards. This old boiler has to be the other way around.
Yeah.
And this is new from here down.
Okay.
But this has been on this
That
boiler when we brought it in.
That came with the boiler.
I
Okay.
just modified from here.
Gotcha.
And then I know you're supposed to have a hyperloop, and I don't like it when it's not
Yeah, it's
up
a little.
here.
Yeah, it's a little
but
low.
it's a little low
But
all
it's
the time,
okay.
like you always said, right?
Yeah.
And then so I had to reconnect the pipe this way. They're all pitched down.
Okay.
But not what
So
I want to do.
so what does it do now? Does it run?
If you short it, it'll run.
Let me short it.
So if I check all the continuity tests.
Yes.
You know, of all the points.
Yes.
The block vent sensors, the flame rollout.
Yes.
I check all of that, and I check the 20.
So what do you short out to get it to run?
So it would run for like half an hour to an hour.
How?
And it would come off to like 15 psi, and it would just warm up perfectly. And
Now,
it started going, and all of a sudden it shut down. And I'm at a last wit right now,
Did you
thinking
say-
that this little cutoff might not
It
be
goes to
good.
15 psi.
15 psi? That's
Yeah.
a little too high, isn't it? It's
No,
supposed to
Yeah.
go under 5, isn't it?
I thought it's supposed to be 10 to 30 psi in this pressure gauge here.
No. So
But this
so
one's
let's
supposed to be like
let,
2
let's
psi or
let's
lower.
let's give you a little education first, right?
Go ahead.
So on a steam system, right? You have one control that regulates or controls pressure, all right? And that's this box right here. Right. No. It's connected to a pigtail, yes, that loopy looking pipe. But the pressure control's job, only function in life, is to control pressure. And some are subtract. And I don't want to confuse, but some are subtractive, some are additive. Right. Most are subtractive. Right. So, and since it's a steam boiler in a residential setting, and we're not even in a skyscraper, even in a skyscraper, you don't need 30, 15, 20, 10 psi of pressure. You don't. You have a low pressure steam boiler which should operate at a quarter pound of pressure. Quarter, that's 0.25 or 0.5 of 1 psi. Right.
Yeah.
Now, however, the pressure controls that we're working with here, if you notice, they don't really go down that low. The lowest number is usually 2.
I thought we set it for 1 and 1.
I didn't even.
So you could do like
left it
I would
alone.
I would do the lowest setting and the differential, which is the dial inside, 0.5.
Right. That's what I
If
do.
it's a subtractive pressure control. However, if you're reading 15 psi
That's crazy.
on that pressure gauge, and it's a used boiler, I can almost guarantee without running, I can almost guarantee that the pressure gauge is not accurate.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm all for homeowners and people doing work on their own. Listen, I'm all for that. It's great as long as you do it the right way and you don't. I don't want to say cut any corners. As long as you don't compromise safety of and the integrity of the system, because I could easily make this thing destroy this house.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Easily do it.
Oh yeah.
And kill whoever's in here. Very easily.
Oh,
Right?
Absolutely.
Two things I could do. and it will run and it will blow up. And you can also do the same thing with the water heater. I can make that water heater destroy this whole entire house when it explodes. Seriously. And that's not even messing filling up with gas. I'm not even talking about the gas. I'm just talking about just dealing with pressure. That is how powerful 30 psi of pressure is. So you have a relief valve here.
When you said 30, I said, wow.
You got this relief valve right here, right? And it is our company policy.
15.
Yep, that every 15 psi right there, perfect. But it's missing a drip leg. What happens, God forbid, let's say this is running. Let's say someone's working right here, and this thing decides to open up because the pressure control failed because the pigtail is clogged, and it doesn't know what kind of pressure is in it, and you get blasted with 15 psi of steam.
You're hurting.
That will cut through your skin.
Oh, absolutely.
I
believe it.
So let's fire this.
We would have loved to.
Well, how come you didn't find me before you put this in and waste?
No, we were like panicked. He was sleeping upstairs.
Well, we got prices.
Ice
You
cold.
want to pay? So
What kind of prices were you getting?
$13,000. Somebody priced him at
Reasonable.
$13,000.
Yeah, see, that's what it's right in line with what I was telling you.
What he's saying is, I bought the original one, I guess, for like $1,000 or something. and I put it in myself.
Listen, why did you take out this boiler? What was wrong with this boiler?
Well, it was.
Hold on. Where did this relief valve come
It
from?
was leaking. I have no
That was
idea.
coming from.
Was it on the boiler?
Yeah, off of this.
What's PSI?
Somebody took the whole cover off because they found a leak in there or something, and so it was coming out like a fountain. He said.
So here,
Took that off.
here, right? Here's another people who shouldn't be doing things, shouldn't be touching things. You know, put this. This is a 30 PSI relief valve. If tell me if this relief valve was on top of this boiler,
Yeah, this
that's a
was
hazard.
that one.
What?
Yeah, that was how many PSI?
30.
Yeah, so that's why I checked that one to make sure that was
Yeah.
15, but I'm supposed to have a pipe go down here.
Yes,
But I
sure,
spent
a
a
drip
whole
line, yeah.
week, almost 2 weeks in here.
I know. I hear
Because I'm
You meant well.
scared, you know. I
You
don't
meant
wanna blow
well.
my
So you
floor.
changed the boiler. Why? Because was it leaking?
Yeah, it was leaking bad.
Water.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you filled it up, and it was.
I
It was
didn't see it, but he told me it came out like a fountain.
from where though?
It looks like you can see something right here.
I think right over here or something, or
Eh.
because what happened was
Because normally with steam systems, when you see them fail,
Yeah.
because of a leak, it's because of
Too high.
adding too much water too frequently, fresh oxygenated too quickly because you're losing water. Maybe it's a defective air valve on a radiator, maybe a steam vent. You're losing water, right? It's an open system, but the water, it's all it's doing is being boiled, creating steam. And the steam's not leaving the system, at least it shouldn't be. And then when it condenses back into water, it makes its way back to the boiler, right? So maybe in an ideal world, once a month, you need to add a little bit of water to the boiler, a couple gallons, right, realistically. But when you have an automatic feeder like you have right there on that
He
boiler,
installed
and
it. There was no automatic feeder.
when you have an automatic feeder on a boiler and you don't know how much water is taking in, right, the fresh oxygenated water will cut a hole in the cast iron, which is this,
Wow.
above the water line. And normally when you see that, I would see evidence of it here. And I don't see any evidence of it here whatsoever.
If anything,
You would-
about that one.
This is just, that's just rust.
if anything,
Maybe,
if anything, it was low water.
It would
okay, if it ran dry, right, because the low water cutoff was not tested on a monthly basis the way it says in the manual, right, and you drain a little bit of water, test the low water cutoff, make sure the light comes on, and then you have a low water condition, and it should turn off the boiler at that point. If it runs dry, you'll come home to a house that smells like a burning tire factory, right? Like the tire factory's on fire, right? Because it's a smell, because the neoprene gaskets between each cast iron sections basically melt away. And then when you add water to that boiler, hopefully you don't shock it and it like cracks and explodes, but then it'll just start dripping out of it.
I think the low water cutoff
Yes.
failed.
It probably did. All right. So
I
back
know
to
you don't
the.
recommend an automatic feeder because it could flood the house, but
Well, that's exactly why I'm not a fan of them, because when automatic feeders fail, it's generally in the open position, and it floods out a house.
So the automatic feed is
over there.
That bad boy right there, the Unimatch WFE24, that's an automatic feeder. It works in conjunction with the low water cutoff, the CG400 right there, and it gets wired directly to that. So the automatic feeder, it gets wired for constant power, and it gets wired for signal from the low water cutoff to the automatic feeder to turn on, and it will stay on based on how it's set. All right, let's get this thing up running and see what's going on.
low. We came out of the rehab.
All
All right, let's. So if you turn, how do we turn it on right now? Want to turn the thermostat on?
Sure, I think it's already on right
I
now.
cranked it up. I cranked
Oh, you
it up.
cranked it
Okay.
up?
Is there power to the boiler right now?
Yeah, the printed cutoff switch is up on the top of the chair.
And it's on?
Is it on?
Do me a favor, grab my tool bag from the side of the truck. Here's the key in case it's locked. Thank you, Peter. All right, let's troubleshoot. So first, good?
You need my headlight? You need the headlight?
No, I'm good. All right, I even though we see the green light right there on the low water cutoff, I'm just going to make sure that we have 24 volts going to our transformer. That's R and C on our transformer, and we have 24 volts, 28 volts, 27.8. That's fine. We have voltage there. Let's. That's been the old boiler, right? Let's jump out, because he's saying this is the thermostat. This is white wires thermostat. So let's jump out. Let's just, even though I don't want to get into the wiring right now, let's jump out thermostat right here. And if we go like this, let's see what happens. Absolutely nothing. So now let's check our safeties one by one. And we have several safeties here. We're going to start with the pressure control. And I'm going to take a 1/4 inch driver, loosen up that screw, we're gonna take off this, and let's remove this wire and this wire. Now keep in mind, we do have 24 volts flowing through, possibly flowing through the circuitry. So we're gonna make sure we don't short anything out. I don't see a safety switch here to turn off power to it. Let's set this to read continuity. So what the hell? What happened to the other protector?
It's been missing.
It's been missing? Okay. All right, we have
you
our
open-
You get what you pay for.
multimeter hooked up to
You
read
open
continuity. Touch the two leads together, make sure we have that, and let's test terminals on our pressure troll.
I'll let you check.
So that is good. So we have continuity there. And again, right now, I don't care if it's not wired right or wrong. I was checking all of our safety circuit. We're gonna check out our rollouts, our spill switch. This is the blocked vent switch. Same thing here is the manual reset. It pops out on temperature. That's also good. We have another switch, which is going to be right next to our combustion chamber, which is right here. Right there. See that little white thing in the corner?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take off carefully the two wires. This one wire is not insulated, so we don't want to touch that to metal because it'll short out. And I'll show you how there. And that's good as well. So our entire safety circuit, with the exception of the vent damper, which we did not test yet, which is right there, is open. Oh, look at
Oh,
that.
now I hear it opening.
What happened?
It just opened the vent damper, which what it usually does before it tries to fire. It sounds like that motor's a bit shot. But...
Wow.
And look at that, we have ignition.
Wow.
Now, the only thing that we did right now, right, is I removed both wires. Oh, the wrong orientation.
Oh.
Yeah, no, stop. All right, we have ignition, right? The only thing I did was remove the two wires from the pressure troll to testing continuity. Remove the two wires from our blocked vent switch, also known as a spill switch, to test continuity. And the two wires on that white thermo disc called a rollout switch. And as soon as I put that switch, the wires back on that switch, our vent damper opened. And now we have ignition. You have a wiring and control issue here. And because it is a used boiler, right? I don't know how far you want to take this. Do you want to make the problem go away and not have to worry about this and not have to, for years? Or do we want to rebuild the boiler, electrically wise and replace the controls? Or do we want to piecemeal it together and have this thing, you go out at 2 o'clock in the morning, on a cold 20-degree night, and now you're driving from Westchester to Long Island to figure it out. That's where we're at.
What would?
So the boiler is still running. We had a whole conversation. You're master electrician, master plumber, right? It is not normal to touch something in order for it to work, other than operating a thermostat, right? Imagine having to come down every single time I got to pull a wire or put it back on.
No, I hear you.
But you might as well put a switch there. And then if you're going to put a
But what
switch there, you might as well put a remote switch.
But what I'm
that way you
saying-
can handle it remotely, right?
What-
Hold on. So right now, we are looking at a temperature and pressure, a pressure gauge that's around 12 PSI right now, right?
Which is totally all.
Here's our 15 PSI relief valve. Well, maybe.
What do you think?
It's possible, but I don't think you have 12 PSI in there. And now you have the relief valve. Hopefully it stops.
Because you're right, because he said 15 PSI,
Yeah.
and I said it was 15, it should have been blowing.
Yeah, that's nowhere near 15. But
Right.
you have
That's way more than 2 PSI, right?
Yeah. And like I said, you have electrical problems here. That's why, because of it's the overall condition of his whole boiler. Number 1, replace the boiler in its entirety. Number 2, rebuild it electrically. Number 3, bubble gum and duct tape and a prayer, right? I'm not a fan of number 3 because you're going to end up getting effed.
Not after what
And
you
yet-
saw with this poor guy went
Yeah.
through. Terrible.
So
Is this what we open?
Those are both supposed to be open, right?
those should both be open, yes. If the top is closed and the bottom is open, it's not going to give you a true reading of water in there, and it's actually much higher than it actually was. It's up here now. Actually,
Coming down. Whoa.
it's surging. Oh look, the boiler's surging.
What does that mean?
it means that the water level inside the there it is. Look, the water level inside the boiler is going like this, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Because
Too much water.
no, not because too much water. Because typically you have contaminants in the water, right? And
What makes you think that water's contaminated?
It's green.
What? What was it?
A, the color of the water. Here's a very good question for you, right?
No, I was kidding.
You were a licensed master plumber at one point. You're retired now. You shelved it. Where were you licensed? New York City?
Actually,
Where were you licensed at? New York City or Westchester?
No, Westchester Putnam.
Okay. Now hold on. Here's a question for you, right? It's not on your exam, but it's on mine. What temperature? Actually, it's not even this question's on the exam because I expect you to know this. What temperature in Fahrenheit does water boil at?
212.
Do you think, which is water, right? Do you think that clean water will burn at 212 degrees, less or more? Hold on. Yeah. Oh, yes. So water. You think? Okay, less. You think less? Okay.
it's clean.
Let's ask your father. Right. If you have clean water, right? We're talking about water boiling at 212. We're not talking about water with impurities in them, right?
Probably 212 clean water, and probably impurities much lower.
You think with impurities much lower?
No, much more. Much more
Yeah,
energy.
much more, actually, much more. I haven't personally done an experiment on that, but I've done the research on it. Dirty water loaded with this is iron and shaving scale, metal scale in it. That's why it's brown. But talking about it surging. The reason why boilers surge on new boilers, this isn't far from a new boiler, right? Is because the boiler, quote unquote, wasn't properly skimmed. Right, because in the manufacturing process, you have a small amount of oils that are still remain on the inside of the boiler, right? And the oil will interfere with the boiling of the water. Also, when we thread pipe, when I say we, I mean plumbers as a whole, not my company, because we don't really thread that much pipe because we use press technology, right?
Yeah,
we use
I
special
saw that.
fittings that literally allow me to do a job like this. I can do a job like this, with another helper or another tech, another mechanic in less than 4 hours. No, less than 4 hours.
Yeah.
With the way it is right here. As long as everything's right in front of me, right? Okay, so the boiler turned off. The boiler turned off. Our green light is still on there. And our pressure gauge is reading 14 psi. And the boiler turned off.
What did you set the thermostat?
If you set the thermostat to 42 and it's 40, it's 42 up there now. It's
No, I set it at 76.
yeah. So it is not 76 because it's like 45 degrees in the house. So now the boiler turned off, and now we can troubleshoot why it turned off. The pressure control first. Carefully removing the leads. And again, I don't even know if this is wired right, but it turned off. Turn it back on. There that is. So one lead there. So pressure control is good. Okay. Now let's go to our blocked vent switch, which is here and there. That's also good. Okay. By the way, one safety that we did not test before was the low water cutoff, but it didn't have a yellow light on it. Now we have this blocked vent switch, and it's a little hot down there, but
It's got to be the wire.
oh no! But hold on, what's
That's opening when
look
it's
what's going
off.
on right now? It's actually opening.
There's a break in those wires
Yeah.
that's tripping it.
No, wait a second. When that switch goes closed,
I
When that
just
switch
pulled
goes
no, but
off,
hold on. I just pulled off the wiring off of the rollout switch,
yeah.
and
That
the
shouldn't
automatic
fire.
vent damper opened. It should not have done that. So, like I said, you
Somehow
have
getting continuity with the wires off.
Yeah. So you're still, like I said, you have an electrical issue here, and I know it's because you have the electrical background as a master electrician. I get it, right? If I was in a similar situation with my trade, I'd be like, this is impossible, But just think about logic. Put everything else aside, think logically. By removing that, right, it should not have opened the damper, but it did, right? And we could spend, I'm trying to be cost effective here, we could spend hours here replacing components where you're spending a lot more money than you thought you were ever going to spend ever.
Yeah.
But the question is, you still have a boiler installed the wrong way.
Yeah.
Will it deliver heat? Yeah, will it deliver it? Probably. But if there's something wrong with a couple radios not working, where you always look at the obvious first. You correct the obvious first. Correct? So let's say you get this up and running, a few radios aren't working, Listen, I didn't put the pipe. I didn't put this in. I'm not the idiot. I'm not saying you're an idiot. I'm
No,
not the
no.
idiot who put this in,
That's what it
right?
was.
You just. There's a leak here.
Yeah. It's corroded pipe upstairs.
All right. Sorry.
I was afraid of a frozen pipe.
We thought we had a frozen pipe and
Yeah.
there's another.
It need a lot of work there.
Yeah.
A lot.
It needs a lot of work.
That's an understatement. Right?
Let's go see. So this is the kitchen.
I'll go down the left.
I'll let you lead the way.
I'll lead you. Yeah. Usually we go through that. Hey, Uncle. Hey, Uncle Mark.
Keep coming. You good? How are you,
This
sir?
is Uncle Mark.
Hi, Uncle Mark.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. You all right? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
You want to sit down?
No.
No? Okay. You need to replace your heating system, and you also need to replace your water heater.
Need to
Okay.
place what?
Your heating system.
Heating?
The boiler,
The boiler.
the boiler. That was an old boiler. It looked brand new, but to me, but what do I know?
And you also need a new water heater. Okay, that's my professional opinion. And I had a conversation with these gentlemen downstairs while we were testing your system. That's our first recommendation. And I know someone else told you that in the past. That $13,000 number they gave you was a realistic expectation to replace a boiler of that kind of size and that, the configuration. $14,000 would be my price with a water heater installed as well.
With what?
With the
With
water
the hot
heater.
water heater, because he feels that it's about ready to go.
The water heater is well past life expectancy down there. Okay. What happens is, to my understanding, you guys bought a used boiler. That boiler is from the 1990s. Facts. There's no question about that because it has a standing pilot ignition system on it. Okay. So it was not a fairly new boiler. It was a used boiler. And with used boiler, you have used problems. So if you don't want to replace the boiler, as long as the boiler is intact, we could replace all the electrical controls on it. That is an option. Okay, that's thousands of dollars, but everything electrically on that system would be new. And option 3, which we don't recommend, and literally be no warranty or guarantee. You'll sign waivers and all that good stuff, bubble gum and duct tape. Just tell it like it is. Okay? Any questions?
So to change all the electrical controls, what's the best price you could give us?
You're going to be around $4,000, and that's not factoring today.
No guarantee. You know what I'm saying? It's
Change
just a
all the
Band-Aid.
you change all the controls.
Everything that's a wire, anything that has a wire that's connected to a wire is replaced, including the wire.
So that's the rollout. That's
That's everything.
The
Everything.
rollout.
Everything.
That's the.
I can't be any more crystal clear on this. That's everything.
Yeah.
Well, everything is.
Everything.
Everything
If there's a
electrically
wire
bad.
connected to it, it's being replaced.
Yeah, yeah.
That means your thermostat as
So
well.
that's a low.
That means your thermostat as well.
Yeah.
Understand as well.
Okay? That's thermostat wiring. That's all the low voltage control wiring. You also have to get an electrician in here to bring in a line voltage switch, which is not there. Right? I am not touching this thing with a 10-foot pole unless it's done the right way.
Yeah, yeah. That's
I worked
good.
very hard to build a very
That's good.
successful
No,
and
no,
a
I'm
great
with you.
name.
I'm with you all the
and
way.
I am not going to, like I said, I say bubblegum and duct tape. If you want me to, you're paying me cash. I was never here. Right? But I just feel bad because there's no heat in this house.
Yeah.
But that's where we're at. Unfortunately, you bought this boiler, and that's your mistake. That's not my fault. Sound like it is. Question, sir.
My papa got a lot of them. I can't think of. This is a heavy blow.
I hear
I
you.
don't know.
I hear you. But that's where we're at. It is what it is. It is what it is. The plumber that was in here before us, before they decided to buy a used boiler from the Bronx, I think he
Yeah,
said,
he said he put it in the Bronx.
for like $1,700. And the guy's a master electrician.
Yeah, and that's the work.
And that's the work that gets done here.
But it was a $10,000 job.
But it was a $10,000 job. Oh my God, I swear you can't make this stuff up. But I actually feel genuinely bad for this guy. However, you have this home that you're living in. And again, I'm not here to count what's in your wallet, what's in your bank account, but if you can't afford the upkeep of your home and you have a disability or you had a stroke, you obviously, you need some kind of assistance, third-party assistance, whether it's a government assistance or SSI, Social Security, disability, whatever it is. Like, if you can't afford to maintain your home, you shouldn't be in a house, And I know, I get it, it sucks, but sometimes you read about these people that, they were hoarders their whole life, and then they're sitting on millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
It's like, that's your own fault. Like, I don't know. Here's the price. You need a new boiler, you need a new water heater. If you do the water heater while we're there, you're basically paying for the water heater and just, some material for that. You're already paying for the day of labor. Like, let's just get it done, but that
wasn't going to help that house.
That was not going to help this house at all. And even if we were to get, let's say the Mikey Pipes Philanthropy non-profit charitable organization, which is an IRS 501c3 charity, were to put in a boiler for free for this gentleman, that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? And I don't think there's a money concern here. I think that there's a parting of money concern here. They don't want to part with it. The gentleman doesn't want to part with it.
Yeah,
because
clearly he doesn't care about the condition he's living in either, so...
Correct.
Exactly.
Duly noted. Ladies and gentlemen, let me get your thoughts and feedback on the situation. I'd have no problem installing a brand new boiler here, and maybe factoring in some of that, and factoring in that price was some air valves for radiators, things like that. But you got to start with the basics, and then there's a problem with a few radiators not heating afterwards and the piping's not done right at the boiler. You got to correct the obvious before troubleshooting deeper. Thank you so much for watching. Smash that thumbs up button. If you haven't done so already, consider subscribing. There's no cost or obligation. If you like any stickers like the ones behind me, email me, mike@mikeypipes.com. Be well, God bless, stay safe. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just a little post-video summary. I know that I have a channel policy not to discuss pricing. That still holds true. In order to keep the service call authentic and genuine, I threw some numbers out there that are realistic expectations should the property owner, which I was confused who's paying for what there, but should the property owner wish to proceed with a repair or replacement. So I mainly do not discuss pricing on this channel because every demographic, every geographic location can tolerate different pricing. Make no mistake, Pipe Doctor Home Services is known to be expensive, yet deliver top-notch quality and professional work. So I'd rather be known as being expensive and having that image than being the bum or the much cheaper alternative who shows up in a t-shirt with a plumber's crack hanging out and is not uniformed and in a beat-up Dodge ProMaster low roof. It is what it is. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this little commentary post-video. Thoughts and feedback down in the comment section down below.